I do a lot of really wacky build challenges here on my YouTube channel, but usually I'm the only one doing the build. And I was thinking that it might be kind of fun if I did a build challenge that we could all do together. So today we are going to create a new shell challenge. If you've been around in the Sims community online for a while, you've definitely heard of a shell challenge, but just in case you've never seen it before, I'm gonna walk you through it. The idea of a shell challenge is that, oh, that's painful. The idea of a shell challenge is that everybody starts with the same shell of a build, and you have to try and turn that shell into a normal looking Sims build. Oftentimes there's like weird bump outs and weird diagonal sections to try and make it a little bit more difficult. And you can do pretty much anything with it. You can add foundations, you can put a roof on, you'll do a floor plan. The only thing you can't do is change the existing exterior walls. That's why it's called a shell challenge, because that shell of the building has to stay the same. Now, normally when I make these shells, I kind of just like wing a shape and then go from there. I don't really have like any rhyme or reason or plan to this. I often will use the custom room tool and just like draw something and oh, okay. I don't know about that. I don't think I like that. Maybe that's what makes it cool though. Interesting. I also like to make sure that all of the sides could like feasibly be the front of the lot if you wanted them to. Because in these shell challenges, you're allowed to rotate the building. Like you could take it, you could rotate it, move it to a different lot. You can really do anything except change the walls. So I like to make sure you have options with the shell, but this one might be a little bit too much. I don't know. I also want to put a second floor, and that might be regrettable as well. Ooh, what if we made it not follow the downstairs? Like what if it kind of like came off the wall a little bit right there? This could probably be a little bit bigger than it is upstairs too. That could be good. And maybe there could be like an extra little thing in the back. I can see already that this is going to be very difficult for me to do a roof on, especially this part. I think that this part right here is going to make me want to scream, but I kind of like that about it. I kind of like that it seems hard. Maybe I'll make it a little bit wider. It being wider is not necessarily better, but it's something. And then the shell has more space, which is also good. I have also in the past put walls on the interior that you're supposed to keep and not get rid of, but I don't think I'm gonna go so far as to do that today. I don't think I'll put you through that. See, I'm nice. I'm being nice about this. Okay, I'm gonna let this be the shell. I think the key is to not think too hard about it, because if I start thinking about it too much, then I'll make it easier by accident. And I'm just gonna put it on the gallery. No time to think, just get it uploaded. Okay. I hope I don't regret this. It is uploaded. I'm calling it the St Jude Shell Challenge, just so it's easier for you to find on the gallery. And when you finish it, post it to the hashtag #SimsieMayShell when you're done. That way I can find your builds, and then we'll do tours of them on my Twitch stream on May 26th. So you've got a couple of weeks to try and build it. And just as kind of a quick rules overview, you download this off the gallery and you turn it into whatever you want. It could be a house, it could be a bar, it could be a restaurant, literally anything goes. It could be any lot type. You can put it in any world, you can put it on any lot size, you can rotate it however you want, you can move it around on the lot, you can add foundations. If you wanted to add like a balcony or a front porch, that's fine. You are allowed to have fences, and you're also allowed to have half walls, because in my mind a half wall is kind of like a fence. You just aren't allowed to add any full walls outside. So you can't like draw a wall right here, that's breaking the rules. You also can't extend the house because that's changing the shell. But of course you can draw walls inside to like make the bathroom, make a bedroom. You can have windows, you can have wallpaper, you can use cheats if you want to. You can do literally anything. The only rule is that you can't change these existing exterior walls. The shell stays the same. Okay, so I'm gonna go build my version live on my Twitch channel as part of the fundraiser. I'm literally going live like right now in like 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back and I'll show you a speed build of the finished product. And if you wanna come hang out in the Twitch streams, I'm gonna be live every single day, sometimes more than once a day for the entire month of May. We're fundraising for St Jude Children's Research Hospital. And as of recording this, we are like this close to $200,000 raised for St Jude. I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but we might be past it by then. That was my goal for the entire month, and I'm recording this on May 5th. So that's kind of wild. But like I said, the fundraiser, my Twitch channel, all of that is linked down below. And now I'm gonna send you to future Kayla to show you what I've built. Okay, well, hello from the future. I did manage to finish this build, although I don't know how successfully, because it was extremely difficult. I can't believe I did this to myself. Like, I have nobody to blame for this but me. But let's let's get into the speed build and I'll kind of walk you through what I've done, starting with rotating the lot a few times. And I'm warning you now, the beginning of this is seriously a trust the process kind of situation. Every time I do a shell challenge, it kind of ends up like this, where I end up rotating it a lot and changing it a lot, doing the roof like 4 different times just to try to figure out what I want to do with it. This might sound kind of weird, but I didn't really go into this with a plan because I didn't know what I was going to be able to do. So I kind of just started by experimenting with the roof and like what side should be the front. It's hard for me to visualize without actually trying it. So I just tested a couple of things. I first started off with a different side being the front, and then I rotated it this way, and this is what ends up sticking. There's kind of that weird front bit that's lower that I ended up making into a fake garage. And then I tried to attach a porch to it. There's like a bunch of side doors. There's so many weird little bump outs on this building. It was such a process to try and hide them. In the end, I don't really like how the front looks that much, but I managed to try and pull together something that works. I also used what I would describe as a kind of ugly color scheme, but I did it on purpose. I didn't want it to look ugly, but I wanted to use colors that I don't normally go for, so the house ends up being very orange. A lot of people in my Twitch chat were like, why orange, Kayla? Like, why is it so orange? I unfortunately don't have an answer to that question. It just is orange. In fact, it started with me making the roof bright orange, and then it was kind of all downhill from there. But honestly, I think that it kind of comes together in the end. I'm not really selling it right now, but I swear, I think that it kind of works out in the end with the orange roof. In general, this is sort of what the final shape ends up being like. Well, yeah, because you can't change the shape, it's a shell challenge. But this is sort of what the house is gonna look like. We're obviously gonna add things like windows and shutters and different columns and stuff to try and put it all together, but this is how the roof ends up being. And I did a lot of porch space because I wanted to try to extend the roof a little bit. I think my least favorite part of the whole thing is the back. I really don't like the back of the house. Even after trying to find some solutions to it, I'm still not super into how the back looks, but at least it's in the back, so we don't have to look at it that much. At least it's like kind of hidden, right? Kind of my next step after the roof was to put down some flooring. I wanted to have a driveway and like a sidewalk up to the front porch and another sidewalk that goes around from the back door. In total, there's 3 entrances to the house. We have the front one, the side one, and one in the back. I actually don't normally do that. It's rare that I'll put a side entrance on my Sims builds, and I don't really know why. And now that I think about it, it's kind of strange because a lot of people have more than one door into their house, but I usually just have a front and a back one, unless I may be doing like a wraparound porch thing, and sometimes I'll put one on the side there. But I guess in that way, this horrible shell maybe is a good thing because it got me to try a different layout than maybe I normally would have. Ooh, and now we're starting to do the windows. And the windows, again, I must ask you to trust the process because I went back and forth so much with this. You can kind of see already in the front of the house there, I've kind of tried to make it look like it's less flat because before it was just one big flat wide section, and I put a column and an extra little bit of roof to try and pretend that there's some more dimension there. And I think that's why I struggled with the windows a little bit, just because I wasn't super sure where I wanted to put them and like what kinds of windows I wanted to put there. What I ended up doing was using those base game windows and then the Horse Ranch shutters next to them. And I made the Horse Ranch shutters in that little light blue color. It's kind of hard to tell right now because the lighting is a bit weird and it's such a light blue that it's not obviously blue. And then to avoid the blue suburban allegations, I made the roof orange. And I was kind of kidding at first when I put it down. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe it kind of works. This is the roof from For Rent. It's not one that I use very often, at least not in this swatch. I actually like that roof a lot. It's one of my favorite roofs in the game, but it's rare that I'll use a brightly colored roof in The Sims 4. I think just because it's kind of hard to find places where it works, at least for the stuff that I normally build. And honestly, orange has got to be one of my least favorite colors of all time. I am not a big fan of orange. I think my 2 least favorite colors are orange and red, especially red, but orange is a close second. So I just don't really gravitate towards it when I'm building. And I guess that's actually a big part of why I wanted to use it here, just to give myself an excuse to try it. I used a couple different wallpapers too. We have like a white painted brick, and there's also sort of a light blue vertical paneling. The brick is base game, the vertical paneling is from Cats and Dogs, and this is probably a good time to point out that this build uses so many packs. This is not a limited pack build in the slightest, so I apologize for that. I was really just using whatever in this one. Even just now I'm putting a cottage living flower box in front of it. We have, again, those horse ranch window shutters. And you can kind of see what I mean by how I don't like the back very much. I tried really hard to fix it with windows, but there's still just something kind of off to me about the back. Even once I did fix it, I think once we have some landscaping and some trees back there later on in the video, it comes together a little bit more, but I'm a little bit unsure. The other big change that I made is I used the light blue shutters on the white parts of the wall, and then I changed them to be white when the wall was blue, so they kind of popped out a little bit more. So there are two different colors of shutter across the house, and I'm not sure if that's weird. I think that it looked okay, and I think that it makes sense because then you can actually see them a bit better. But I don't know, it's just different than what I normally do. It's rare that I'm using all these random colors together, and it's not even that bad. Like, blue and orange look good together. There's a reason people use it together, but for me, it feels like a really big stretch. Okay, but while we're putting this together, now is probably a good time for a little bit of a life update, because I tend to do those in speed builds like this. And currently, my entire life is revolving around the fundraiser that I'm doing on my Twitch channel, which I realize I talk about so much in my videos right now. But I'm fundraising for the entire month. I literally stream nonstop. I don't take any days off. I've been like up late working all month on this. So when I say my entire life revolves around it, I'm not kidding. I haven't done or thought about literally anything else for the entire month of May. And of course, I built this shell challenge as part of the fundraiser too, so it's appropriate, it's relevant. As of recording this part of the build, we actually just passed $350,000 raised for St Jude. Truly cannot wrap my head around that number. That is just absolutely wild. And it's May 15th, so we're about halfway through the month when I'm recording this. And tomorrow, I'm gonna be doing my mod shell challenge on my Twitch channel, which is actually another shell challenge, but it's worse than this one. Yeah, I know, believe it or not. But when my mods make a shell challenge for me, we do it like a puzzle shell. So basically every single one of my Twitch mods is gonna make a room. And then I have to try and piece together those rooms like puzzle pieces and make a house with it somehow. In previous years, they've done things like make a room that is the shape of a lizard, or make like a really long and skinny ridiculous room. There was one that was the literal shape of a shell, like picture like a clam shell, but they made a room in The Sims that was shaped like that. And I have to try and fit them together somehow. So let me know if you're interested in seeing that on YouTube, because I'm gonna do it on Twitch first, but I could post it here too if you want me to. If you want to come by to my Twitch stream tomorrow and suffer with me, I'll just link that down below for you. My name is lilsimsie on Twitch. And I'll also link our fundraiser page down below in case you want to check that out as well. But at this point of the speed build, we're trying to work on the floor plan. And this, I think, is where the shell challenge really got hard. This was definitely the worst part of it for me. You're gonna watch me try a lot of different things and a lot of different layouts. And this is sort of like the reason shell challenges are difficult, because normally if you were struggling to fit stuff in your build, you could just make it a little bit bigger, like adjust a wall so you can fit a room in there. But you can't do that in a shell like this. So I ended up with some kind of weirdly shaped bedrooms. I had a really hard time with where to put the stairs. I tried a lot of different things. I moved it around a lot of different times. I was trying to make it like a U-shaped staircase. I had it like a 2-tile wide staircase. It wasn't really working. This is where I ended up with it staying. So basically upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms. A couple of them are really small and also really, really strange shapes. And there's 2 bedrooms upstairs. One of them is like an ensuite for the primary bedroom, and the other one is sort of like a Jack and Jill bathroom in between the kids' rooms. Sometimes I say that and people are like, what does that mean? To be honest, I don't really know where the word comes from. They just call it that when there's like a bathroom in between 2 rooms and the entrance is inside of the bedrooms, but the bathroom just didn't really fit anywhere else. My preference is always to have an actual hallway entrance to the bathroom, because then people don't need to walk through the bedrooms to get into it. But with how weird the layout was, I kind of had to shove it in a corner, and so like, it's fine. It's fine. My real life house has a bathroom like that upstairs in between like a couple of the bedrooms. So it's not that weird. It just might seem weird if you haven't ever seen one like that before. And then downstairs, we have like that front garage area, obviously. There's another bathroom downstairs and kind of like a little hallway into it. In the very back, that tiny room is going to become an art studio. And then we have sort of like an L-shaped living room where we have the couches in the back. There's a kitchen off to the side and a dining table right in front of it next to the stairs. For some reason, I am not moving the camera. This is the trouble with me doing these things live on Twitch. I'm like also talking to chat and right now reading all the donations, so sometimes there's some weird pauses. I tried to cut them all out, but clearly I missed that one, so I apologize. Now this front part, I think I was the most unsure about, because there's a lot of hallway happening right in the front. I didn't really want to have a super long hallway up here, so instead I kind of made it like a T-shaped hallway. hallway basically. And there's like a little bit of a mudroom vibe next to the entrance from the garage, and I put some storage. At this point I had put a little bit of filler furniture in there, and then we skipped past it and we're gonna go back and work on the outside. I know it seems like I'm jumping around a lot because it looks like I started furnishing, but all of the furniture that I put in there, in my mind, was like temporary placeholders. I usually call it filler furniture, and it's just to help me visualize how the floor plan will fit, and then I go back inside afterward and I work on the actual furnishing. So my typical build order is like build the outside shell, figure out the floor plan, go back outside, finish the outside, and then go back inside and furnish it. I guess that does seem like I'm kind of jumping around a lot. I'm kind of curious to know, do you have like a method for how you build your Sims houses? I don't really do that on purpose. Like I don't sit here thinking like, okay, step 1, step 2, but I think I just typically end up doing it in that sort of order. Is there an order that you usually follow when you're furnishing and decorating? I guess sometimes I will landscape at the very end. There are times where I'll wait until like the very last minute to do plans, but sometimes with builds like this where I'm kind of unsure about how the house is looking, I'm like, okay, I need to get some plants in here fast because it's looking a little bit strange. And then I guess weirdly, I'm starting with the patio next, now that we're gonna start putting some furniture down. One thing this house does have going for it is a really big porch, and I do like that about it. So I put a chess table in the front because classic Simsy build, you gotta have a chess table on the porch. For some reason, I always do that. But I also put a little side table with some chairs next to it and like a lemonade tray on the side. And there's a couple of vertical planters on the other part of it. I liked those because they looked a little bit different from the front. It was like something else to look at kinda. And it's nice because you can grow some plants in there, and because they're underneath the patio, they're technically undercover, so they'll grow in all seasons in The Sims. So even if it's winter, you can still put stuff inside of those. Although I will say the vertical planters can be a little bit buggy at times. I mean, gardening in general can be a little bit buggy at times. So you imagine trying to make it in a fancy planter, that doesn't help. And with that, we are finally moving onto the interior of the house. Finally. So we're starting with the kitchen. It's kind of small and like just tucked in this little back corner, and I started trying to use the island living cabinets. I really want to use the island living cabinets, but unfortunately they just don't have a matching upper cabinet. They gave us instead this kind of funky shelving from Island Living that has the same swatches of the cabinets, but it doesn't always fit. Like in this case, it's 3 tiles wide, this wall, but all of the upper shelving is 2 tiles wide, so you just can't really like make it work. I swapped it out instead for the base game cabinetry that has the same swatch, but is like a little bit less modern looking. I think it probably makes more sense anyway in this style of house. I just want to use Island Living more because I don't really feel like I use the furniture from that stuff very often. The cabinets and counters especially, but there's some kind of weird swatches on those counters, and also they don't have the matching upper cabinets. Whenever a kitchen set isn't like a full kitchen set, I am so much less likely to use it. Because I don't always use upper cabinets, and I will put open shelving a lot, but sometimes you want to have the option to have a mix of cabinets and shelving, and we just don't always get that. I also think I still have a little bit of a hang up about the Island Living cabinets, even though this happened like literally years ago, and it's been fixed for a long time. But when Island Living first came out, they didn't give us an island counter. They gave us just the regular counter and the open shelves up top, but no island counter type, and everybody was furious with them. They were like, you can't do this. You can't give us literally a third of a kitchen set. So they went back and they fixed it, and they gave us the matching island counter for it. And it happened all very quickly around the release of Island Living. Like we didn't have to wait for that long for it to come out. And a lot of you might not even remember that happening, but I remember that happening. So I'm still kind of like angry about the Island Living counters, even though this happened in what, like 2018? Oh my God. When I say it out loud, I realize how just absolutely ridiculous that sounds. But anyway, I'm working on the living room now. In here, I used my favorite couches from the Cozy Kitsch kit. We've got kind of a cute movie hangout gallery wall back behind it, and the big rug that I've got in there is from Cats and Dogs. The interior of the house is definitely more of like a blue and orange vibe than the outside even is. I think because we have a more visible blue. The outside blue is so light that it almost looks white, but inside it's definitely a bit more vibrant. It's pretty colorful in here, and I like that about it. I did struggle with the color of the accent chair and also the color of the dining chairs. I wanted to try and have like a funky accent color, but it just wasn't really working because all of the options were a bit weird. So what I did instead was use the same cream colored couch chair, but I used the accent pillow to bring in more of the orange. Over here in this tiny corner, we have like a desk nook type of space, and I used a computer and a couple clutter items from my kit, specifically the desk chair and the pencil cup and also the headphones over there. I also put the open book from my kit on the coffee table along with some other clutter items. That open book is one of my favorite items we have ever gotten in The Sims 4, and I understand that I have a bias, right? Like, it was my idea to put it in the game because it's from my comfy gamer kit. But seriously, I really, really like that thing. And what's funny is I would never do that in real life. I would never sit a book face down open like that on a table, but I just think it looks so cute in The Sims. It makes it look like somebody was actually sat there reading it, you know? And they just got up for a second to go grab a drink and they just left the book open on the table. It's hard to find stuff like that in The Sims that really looks like a person was just there. They just were using it. It's like a person actually lives in this house. The game is very pristine and neat a lot of the time. They've been doing a better job of giving us more stuff that's not. Like, think the dirty coffee cups and stuff that we've gotten recently. But generally speaking, The Sims 4 is a very neat game. Now we're doing the garage in here. You can tell that I built this very soon after the garage and the kitchen clutter kits came out because I used a lot of those items both inside and out here. But this garage, I used a little bit less of the garage clutter kit because the past couple garage builds that I've done, I basically used every single item from the garage kit inside of them. In here instead, I put laundry. We have some more clutter from laundry day just in general. I have things like the burglar alarm in there. I think I ended up adding some bikes even inside of the garage. Sometimes when I watch these speed builds back, I get surprised. Yep, there's bikes. I get surprised by my own decisions, which seems kind of weird. But I don't know. I don't remember exactly every single item I put inside of a room. And I did watch this back before I started recording, but sometimes you still just forget a couple little details, right? But I also put a woodworking table in here. I have things like the breaker box. I tried to fit the water heater, but it didn't quite work. And I didn't put anything in the middle because I kind of wanted to pretend that you would still have space to park a car in there, even though obviously you aren't gonna have space, and also there are no cars in The Sims 4, so it doesn't matter. My shameful secret about my real life garage in my real life house is that it is still kind of messy from when we moved in, like 3 years ago. We still have like a bunch of boxes and some stuff like from furniture that we bought when we moved into the house. It's not that bad. Like, it's fine, but we only have one car and it's a 2-car like wide garage. So there's a lot of space on the side and, you know, stuff just kind of like piles up over there. I also have a couple decorations, like outdoor decorations for Christmas. Like, I have these like little like reindeer that light up, and like a normal person would break them down and put them in a box and store them until next year. My reindeer are fully built just in my garage and they have been nonstop since I bought them like 3 years ago, which is fine. Like, I've got space for them to be like that and I don't really mind them being there, but it is a little bit weird that I have like fully built Christmas decorations just staring at me when I park my car. Does anybody have a clean and like super neat garage though? I don't think so. I mean, some people do. I'm not one of those people. The rest of my house is very clean and very neat, trust me, but the garage is not high on my list of priorities. Okay, but we are now finally moving upstairs. You can see that I did put the bathrooms together off camera. I'll show you them at the end in the tour, but we are starting with the primary bedroom. And in this, I used the bed from Growing Together. It kind of has that cute sort of orange and blue color scheme. It even has like a little bit of a red accent. I put orange lights on the nightstands, which I never ever use. And any other furniture you see in the other rooms, like that rug in the room next door, don't worry, it was just a placeholder. I think that the primary bedroom was my least favorite room in the entire house, and it's not bad. I think I just had the hardest time furnishing it. So I put the bed right in that back corner because that's kind of where it fit the best. And then I ended up using a vanity table off to the side, and of course they do have that ensuite bathroom next to it. I did use that movie hangout gallery wall 3 times in this house. It just fits so well. And there's some things like we really are kind of lacking in terms of gallery walls in this game. They're getting a little bit better, but we still need more. We need more gallery walls, or at least more pieces that would work well in gallery walls. Like, if they gave me everything from that movie hangout gallery wall separate, I would love that. Like some tiny pieces of art, some different shaped pieces of art, because then you can kind of mix and match those in your own gallery walls a little bit easier. But we don't have that. So until that day comes, sometimes you just got to use the same thing again. again. The rug in here that's kind of scalloped is from Lovestruck, and we also have the vanity table from Bella Goth's kit in there. That's kind of like the main furniture inside of that room. And then right next door to it, this is gonna become the nursery for the baby. I used the rug from my kit, the like comfy gamer little green rug in here with some green curtains on the wall. And then I put the Desert Luxe kit curtain rod thing around it. So it kind of looks like the curtains go around the whole room in the corner. It's a very, very small room. So it basically just fits the crib and a changing table inside of here. I do wish that it was a tiny bit bigger, but again, I struggled so much with the floor plan, I just couldn't really fit any other space. If I were building this for a normal build, I might have extended the walls in one direction and made it just like a tiny bit larger, but of course, this is a shell challenge, so those options are not available to us. I did put a rocking chair and a lamp and a couple of little kids' books on the wall, and that's pretty much the entire nursery. And now this next room is going to be a kid's room, and they're gonna share a bathroom with their older sibling. So there's kind of like 2 bedrooms back here and that little green bathroom in the corner. That's the Jack and Jill bathroom I was telling you about. And in this kid's room, I used the pastel pop wallpaper from my friend Jessie's kit. We've got kind of a cute eco lifestyle bed, and then I basically just tried to fit in any kind of skill building stuff we could add. So obviously nightstand dresser, but then I tried to put some more kids' toys and stuff in here. It's a very like purple, yellow, and light green room. I used the rug from my kit again in here because it's got that nice pastel purple, but they also have one of the teddy bears. I gave them the little drawing table. They have the science table off to the side. The drawing table is another one of those things that I actually kind of wish we had more of. I feel like they were for a time giving us so many of those drawing tables, and it was like a little bit overboard, so they kind of stopped, but we never quite got drawing tables in the color scheme that I wanted. This room is fine, so this is like a bad time to bring it up, but I kind of wish we had some more that were just like sort of wooden and that like actually match the wood tones that we have in the game. There is one like that from Snowy Escape, but Snowy Escape doesn't have all the same wood tones that the base game does, so I kind of want like a base game wooden drawing table for kids. But anyway, this is the last bedroom in the house. This is like the teens bedroom. I used a bunch of stuff from High School Years in here because High School Years has a whole like nightstand dresser and desk set that usually comes in just plain wood swatches, but it also has a couple that are painted, and I always kind of forget about the painted ones. So it has like this kind of cute pink, purple, and blue paint on the drawers of it. So I used that set with that kind of cute High School Years bed. I put some photos and fairy lights up on the wall. I did end up swapping it out for my desk instead, which doesn't have the painted colors that match, but it does have way better slots. I think that's like the #1 plus of the desk from the Comfy Gamer kit. It's just that it has so many more slots than a normal desk, so you can put way more clutter on there without having to use move objects. So I used like all of the computer stuff from my kit to put on top of the desk. I also have a little poof from my kit. Over on the dresser behind it, I put a couple more clutter things from my kit. We've got like some High School Years posters and like the little Polaroid decals. And overall, that just about covers everything in this entire room. I really like this teens room. It's one of my favorite rooms in the house, and maybe one of my favorite bedrooms that I've done in a little bit. But now that we're finished with the build, putting in some last little details, I want to go back into the game and give you a tour of the finished product. So I just built this in Newcrest, not on any fancy lot or anything. And as a reminder, this is what the shell looked like originally. So this is what we built earlier and what we had to work with. And I have some regrets. I wasn't thrilled about the shape, but I think we managed to make it work. And this is what the finished product becomes. So on the gallery, it's called the St Jude Shell Challenge. It is 109-ish thousand simoleons, and it has like so many pages of text. But this is what it looks like. So there are a couple of things that I added after I stopped recording, especially outside. So I went through, I added a big orange swing set in the front. We have a debug car and like a little orange and blue hopscotch. I totally forgot that this even came in that color, but I feel like it matches perfectly with the driveway. I also put a little soccer ball, and you can kind of see how the landscaping turned out a bit more too. This is what I was talking about with me trying to make this wall feel like it had more dimension by putting the column and like the fake roof. I think that really helped with it being so flat. I actually really like how the front of the house looks, and I did not expect to. I had low expectations for the outside. I wasn't a big fan of this side, so I kind of hid it with a tree. And then around the very back, this is what the patio ended up becoming. I have a really big table. There's some lounge chairs with a big orange umbrella. These are like a light blue lounge chair too from Wedding Stories. Over on this side, we've got a couple planter boxes and a telescope so your Sims can die. We do have some monkey bars over here and like a little grill on the back porch. All the way around this side, this is how your Sim can get out from the backyard. They have a trash can and kind of like that side door with an extra easel. Also in the front porch, we have some more skill building stuff just kind of out here. And then when you come into the house, this is what the little front entryway looks like. So there's kind of like a cute shelf and some umbrella storage. We've got your burglar alarm. There's a record player. And then down this way is almost like a little hallway slash mudroom type of thing. I did think about blocking it off and making it into a proper mudroom and like a laundry room sort of style, but I didn't like how long this hallway was. I felt like it was too much, so I left it open instead. And this is how you come into the garage. So they've got some storage around here, lots of bikes, and all of this is functional for gameplay with your laundry and your woodworking table. I kind of like the idea of if your sim lived here, you could have them display their woodworking on these open shelves. A little bit further down, this is the bathroom that's downstairs. I tried to use a lot of fun colored tile and different tile in all of the bathrooms. This is a for rent tile in here, and it's got kind of like a cute gold accent. Up this way a little bit more, we've got the dining table and that little office nook that I told you about. I did put some postcards on the corkboard. And then this is the kitchen. I really did actually like how this kitchen turned out. It's small, but there's plenty of space for cooking, and I just think it looks really clean and nice. And then over here we have the living room with a huge TV and like the nice gallery wall art. This is part of why the house is so expensive, because this thing is really pricey. This TV is like 8,500 simoleons, but the size of it is just too good. In here we also have a little art studio area using a lot of the stuff from the artist studio kit. I had a really big focus on skill building in this house and like making sure you had a lot of items for that. You know, you can do art, you can do woodworking, you can ride bikes, you can do the logic skill, you know, all of that sort of thing. And then if you go upstairs from this staircase right in the middle, this is what the hallway looks like. I did put a rat in here. We've got that movie hangout thing again, just some cute clutter and stuff. And we'll start this way in the primary bedroom. So they kind of have some dresser storage and a bookshelf. We've got the vanity table and also a laundry hamper. And then this is their bathroom. It doesn't have a shower because I got a little bit carried away with the decorating above the bathtub with this open shelving, but I thought it was so cute that you didn't need a shower. So I didn't give them one. It's only a tub. Back into the hallway, we can go into this little nursery right next door. Again, totally not a lot of stuff in here. It's a very small space, but it's cute. It gets the job done. Then we have a very strangely shaped kids room, which I'm not sure about, but I think the space gets used well. They have like their bed and like their storage on this side and then more skill stuff over on this side. You can also go straight into their bathroom from here. And I tried to match the color scheme. So we have like a yellow bathrobe on this door and a pink bathrobe on the other door, but they do have a shower. They also have a lot of windows in this bathroom. So it's probably not the most ideal location for it, but it fit back there. So I added one. And then lastly, we have that teen's bedroom. So they can also go into the bathroom from here. And this is their door on this side of the hallway. They've got a really lovely cluttered desk. They've got a big mirror. They have some storage on their dresser, another hamper. And then we also have the bed in this back corner with like a hanging pride flag on the wall. And that, my friends, is the fully finished product. So that's how I managed to lay it all out. If you attempt this shell challenge, please let me know because I would love to see what you build with it. You can get it off the gallery with the hashtag #SimsieMayShell, and if you build it, put it up to the gallery with the hashtag #SimsieMayShell when you're done. You can see already a lot of people have done the shell challenge, and it's really cool just how different they all turn out. Like, you would never know from looking at this that these are all the same starting point. There's like fancy modern stuff. There's an old Tudor house. People make like nightclubs and rentals. This one is a high school made with the shell. It's just so fun to see the creativity of the community. And I'm also gonna try and do some tours of these shells on my Twitch channel on May 26th. Now, bear in mind, I am just one person. It is just one stream, and there's gonna be hundreds of shells on the gallery. So I obviously can't show them all on stream, but we do like a random selection process and show as many as we can. The point of the shell isn't like to be toured on Twitch though. The point is to have a fun little build challenge. So please don't be sad if I can't see yours on stream, especially right now. Like, I, as you can imagine, have a lot going on. I can only do so much, right? But hopefully you'll have fun with actually doing the shell, because it is a good time, if not also a painful time. But thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. Please though, seriously, my goal is never to like hurt anybody's feelings or have anybody be sad if I couldn't see their shell on stream. It's supposed to be fun and like uplifting and a good time. I just want to manage expectations so nobody is disappointed. I am just one person.